What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some battles in the Summer Cup featuring Emolga with its new charge move Acrobatics. Now I know several other content creators have already showcased it this season, so I decided to bring back the triple Pikachu clone theme team with Togedemaru and Dedenne. I did 5 sets in total with this team, going 4-on-1 4 times as well as a 3-on-2, so it is genuinely viable to use right now, although it's still very early in the season. A lot of the meta seems to be weak to electric, and even Pokemon like Swampert weren't too much of a hassle to beat now, with Emolga hitting a lot harder with the Acrobatics. With that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. Which other Pokemon currently held back by Aerial Ace would you like to see learn a new, much stronger flying type charge move in Pokemon Go? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, we lead Emolga into a double, a fairly neutral matchup. We do of course resist the damage from double kick, but body slam spam is real, and body slam is going to do big damage to the Emolga. You can see I don't have the best IVs, but I'm going to go straight for an Acrobatics. It does connect, it does huge damage, and now we swap into Dedenne, catching a body slam from this double. They now swap into a Toxapex. Not the greatest matchup, but we will be able to reach 2 discharges if they go for a full farm down. We grab a shield with the first one, we make it to discharge number 2, and this will do some very nice damage up against the Toxapex. They do get the farm down and they have quite a lot of energy, but it's not going to go to use here as we come in with our Togedemaru. We of course double resist the poison jab damage and the potential sludge wave. We could have thrown the wild charge on a CMP, but I actually opt to shield once and then over farming to nearly 100 energy, 99 to be exact. We go for the wild charge, taking out the Toxapex. They come in with a double. We're going to go for that Fell Stinger here, and this grabs the final shield, so they're clearly weak to the electric typing in the back. We go for Fell Stinger number 2, taking out the double. We are now double attack boosted. We make it to a wild charge, and from this range, wild charge takes out the Dugong, and we take that game. So there you can see the closing power of Togedemaru, and as well a lot of teams just aren't very good up against the electric typing. But into the next battle we see Beedrill in the lead. We are both massively over farming here. I'm going to full send the Acrobatics. The opponent calls a bait and we just one shot the Beedrill, but now they come in with Shadow Swampert, and this isn't the worst matchup in even shield scenarios and even health, but we are very low. We go for the Acrobatics and it does get shielded up this time around. Gonna shield up the Hydro Cannon, and unfortunately they make it to a second charge move before we can even make it to the Acrobatics, so it's not looking too good for us. The opponent goes for a catch. We see it's a Talonflame, so I go for a discharge. I'm now going to go for one Thundershock, banking an Acrobatics. Coming in with the Dedenne, they can't go for a Brave Bird. They have to go for Flame Charge, but it doesn't do much damage. We get a full farm down and we leave with a Play Rough loaded. Absolutely perfect for us. Play Rough connects, it does big damage. The opponent recognizing there was no win condition, so they do just let themselves get farmed down, and we take that game. So GG's to that opponent. Into the next battle we see a regular Swampert in the lead, and this is a lot more comfortable as a Hydro Cannon will not threaten our health, so we can safely let the first one go through. Unfortunately they did shield the Acrobatics, but that is fine. They will easily outpace us, but once again the opponent goes for a catch too soon. They swap into Wigglytuff, and this is fine with me. Gonna farm to 99 energy once again, and this wild charge grabs the first shield. We go for one more Thundershock, going for a second wild charge here up against the Wigglytuff. It connects, it does big damage. One more Thundershock gets the farm down, but unfortunately I am sniped with a Talonflame, but it does not matter. We can come in with the Dedenne, shield once, we might as well. We do have shields remaining. Now I'm going to overfarm, go for 2 Thundershocks here, go for that discharge, and it takes out the Talonflame. And at this point I'm actually not so sure they're in Acrobatics range, so I'm going to shield this up, go straight for a discharge, and then just let this Swampert go for one more charge move to take me out, which they do straight away. I can now let this go through. They actually undercharge it. I know they don't have another Hydro Cannon loaded, so I swap into Emolga. We go for Acrobatics, it takes out the Swampert, and we take that game. So GG's to that opponent. Into the next battle, Shadow Alolan Marowak in the lead. This isn't too good for most electric types, as Bone Clubs will chunk and it's very spammy, but we're a flying type, so we do resist that. They have to go for the Shadow Bone or Shadow Ball. I'm going to shield up the charge move here. They did overfarm massively, and now the opponent swaps into Dugong. I'm quite slow there, but I do make it to a wild charge on the CMP tie with a potential drill run. They let it go through, but it doesn't take them out. Dugong's so bulky. I now just let this move go through. Drill Run easily one-shots us there, even without the defense drop. And now I can come in with the Dedenne. They did win back switch advantage, but I don't know if it's actually necessary here. We're going to come in with the Dedenne. This isn't the best matchup, but neither was the Emolga. We're going to shield up the Bone Club. Wouldn't do too much damage. Honestly, maybe I should have let that go through, but I'm now going to go for a discharge. The opponent lets it go through. I swap and I snipe with my Emolga, going for a second discharge, taking out Marowak, and they've got a Wall Rain in the back, so double Water Ice, and unfortunately it's not looking good. We go for the discharge, it gets shielded, but they're just not in range for a discharge from this Dedenne. Gonna throw it anyways, and discharge just doesn't do enough damage. We threw on a CMP tie with the Earthquake. Earthquake takes out the Dedenne, and we do unfortunately lose that game. So GG's to that opponent. Into the next battle, we see Shadow Victory Belt in the lead, and they're staying in, so very interesting here. I'm not going to bait, no point in baiting. Full send the Acrobatics, it does unfortunately get shielded, and it looks like I'm not going to be able to reach another move if they do go for an Acid Spray, which they do, so I swap out into my Togedemaru, and they are still staying in, so they're clearly very weak to the electric typing in the back. We go for Wild Charge, they even shield it there. I was not expecting that. We can go for another Wild Charge, and this will be enough, even resisted, to take out the Victory Bell, and the opponent is going to come in with a Charizard, and I'm actually able to get to another Wild Charge because we are double resisting the wing attacks. They swap, they catch it into Jellicent, and that is absolutely fine with me. We come in with the Dedenne, we get the farm down, we have a Discharge loaded, and against Charizard this will easily be enough to one-shot the Charizard, and we take that game. So you can clearly see that a lot of teams are very weak to the electric typing, and speaking of electric types, we see a Shadow Galvantula in the lead. And I'm thinking they're probably going to bait me here. They very often do. But no, they go for the discharge. And luckily, we do just barely hang on. We go for Acrobatics. And it does take out the Galvantula. They come in with another electric type. So we're going to do exactly the same. Come in with our Togedemaru. And we can go for Wild Charges. I'm actually going to shield the first charge move here. Kind of interesting play, but I'm going to farm to back-to-back Wild Charges myself, throwing at 99 energy once again. You always want to maximize the energy before you start debuffing your defense. We go for Wild Charge number 2, and then I'm going to swap into my Dedenne here, not tank a Surf whilst we are debuffed. We bait out a Toxapex, and we are at the back-to-back discharges already. Going to go for the first one, and that does big damage. The second one should just about be enough to take out the Toxapex, and it does just that. They come back in with Lantern, they do overfarm appropriately. I'm just going to let Dedenne go down, and I think at this point, with a few Thunder Shocks, we should be able to take them out with the Wild Charge here. I'm just going to be safe, go for a couple extra, go for the Wild Charge, and from this range, Wild Charge takes out the Lantern, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent. Into the next battle, we see Alolan Graveler in the lead. Gonna swap out straight away into Dedenne. The opponent responds with a Ferrothorn, so not looking too good for us so far. They're gonna be able to resist everything we throw, although they're only going to be able to go for neutral charge moves here, so even if they went for Flash Cannon, that would not take us out. And here, we're not really in farm down range, so I'm going to go for a Play Rough number 2. That does some decent damage, and if they go for the farm down, which they do, we will make it to a discharge in time, and we actually grab a shield advantage, which is actually quite huge for us. We're now going to come in with the Emolga here, let anything go through. They are running Flash Cannon, but it is resisted, and now we can let a second charge move go through. We know everything's resisted. They go for a Power Whip, and at this point I should be able to get the full farm down, but I know if I throw here, they will be able to snipe me, and I will not get the second charge move off. So I'm going to bank all of that energy, come in with Togedemaru, also tank a Rock Blast, and they come in with a Noctowl. So I'm really hoping I can go for this Wild Charge and then fully farm them down before they make a charge move, but I'm wrong. I'm not able to do that, and now we are debuffed. Even though Sky Attack is double resisted, I kind of have to shield it. They come back in with the Graveler, gonna shield this up. They go for the Rock Blast number 2. We go for Wild Charge here at 99 energy once again. Wild Charge grabs the shield. We now swap into our Emolga here, and we're only gonna get off one charge move before they snipe me, but I think they are now in Wild Charge range, so I throw it straight away. But I'm wrong, it does not take them out. I've debuffed my defense. Now a Rock Blast will take me out, and unfortunately I do lose that game. So I definitely think I did misplay that end game there. Let me know what I should have done in the comment section down below. But into the next battle, we see a Swampert in the lead, and once again gonna go straight for an Acrobatics. We're going to let this Hydro Cannon go through, and we're going to overfarm and actually throw on the CMP tie with the second Hydro Cannon here. And the opponent does let it go through, which is huge for me. I'm now going to use a shield. Hydro Cannon does, of course, force my final shield here, or my first shield, sorry, what am I talking about? But we now go for a discharge on the CMP tie, grabbing a shield from the opponent, and at this point, I'm going to let the Emolga go down, come in with the Dedenne, get the farm down, and let's see what they've got in the back. Hopefully that's their only counter to electric types, and they actually come in with wall range, so that's amazing for me. Gonna go for a discharge here. They do actually let that go through. They are clearly weak to the electric typing in the back, so I'm gonna go for another discharge on the CMP tie with a potential Earthquake. Gonna let it go through, and the opponent baits with an Icicle Spear, so I'm going to swap, catch the second Icicle Spear onto my Togedemaru here, and we are going to see they've actually got a Alola Marowak in the back, so not what I was expecting at all. We're going to go for a Fell Stinger bait here. That's going to boost my attack, so now I will be able to reach a Wild Charge. And how much damage does it do? It still doesn't take them out, which is really unfortunate. But the opponent throws a charge move. Huge mistake from my opponent. This will allow me to get the farm down, come out with a discharge loaded as well. Absolutely perfect endgame scenario for me, although that was definitely a misplay from my opponent. But GG's to that opponent there. Into the next battle, another Swampert in the lead, and we are once again gonna let the Hydro Cannon go through, go straight for the Acrobatics. I think it is quite risky going for a bait here. We've seen we have landed Acrobatics multiple times here. Gonna go for it once again on the CMP tie, and we do connect once again, so that's huge. Gonna shield this up once again as well, and then I will throw a discharge on the CMP tie with the next Hydro Cannon, once again winning the CMP tie. This time they let it go through. They come in with Galvantula, so I swap into Dedenne, and the opponent has a Shadow Beedrill, which is really not good for me. And if they want to, they can double shield here and fully farm me down, and that's actually going to be devastating for me because, of course, a Drill Run will absolutely decimate my Togedemaru in the back. So this is looking really tricky. I'm also not going to reach an Acrobatics in time, so I go for the discharge here, and this will do big damage to the Beedrill, but it doesn't take them out. And at this point, they've got so much energy. I'm hoping that they didn't just blind throw a Drill Run, but that's exactly what they did. It one-shots Togedemaru, and we do lose that game. But I think they had enough energy to make it to a second Drill Run anyway, so I don't think that was a massive mistake on my end. They just outplayed me there. But into the next battle, we see a Pidgeot in the lead. The opponent's staying in, and that's a pretty clear indicator that they are weak to the electric typing in the back, or maybe the flying typing. But they come in with a Dunsparce. We're going to full send the Acrobatics, and then I don't want to let them farm me down, so I'm going to swap into my Dedenne here, and we can at least tank one Drill Run on the Dedenne. Of course, on Togedemaru, we've seen a Drill Run absolutely destroys it, so we can't let one through. But we go for the discharge. It does connect. At this point, I'm happy to let Dedenne go down, hoping Togedemaru can sweep in the end game. So we're going to wait out the switch clock here and come in with the Togedemaru, and we should be able to go for a Wild Charge, but instead I'm going to choose to shield and once again massively overfarm, and the opponent is staying in. They swap into their own Togedemaru. I'm actually going to bait with a Fell Stinger, and we actually grab a shield there. I was not expecting a shield. I just wanted to boost my attack so that 2 wild charges would definitely take them out. The opponent's running Gyro Ball, which is double resisted. They clearly don't want to debuff their defense, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Gonna go for a second wild charge. This will easily take out the Togedemaru, and now we can go for a third wild charge into the Dunsparce, and Togedemaru is an insane sweeper in this cup right now. I definitely recommend you go and try it out if you have one built. But into the next battle, we see a Tropius in the lead, so pretty good lead for us. We actually resist everything. They swap into Crustle, we respond with our Togedemaru, and this is a pretty good matchup, but I'm gonna let the first move go through. They go for a Rock Slide that actually does more damage than I was expecting. I'm not gonna bait here, go for the Wild Charge straight away, and they actually shield it, and now this is actually not very good for me because we can only make it to 1 more charge move. It does get shielded, and now they have flip switch advantage. They've used 2 shields to do so, but they might have a second rock type in the back, and if that's the case, Emolga is not looking too good right now. So gonna go for the discharge here, and this discharge barely doesn't take out the Crustle, which is really unfortunate. I can't afford to shield. It is just an X-Scissor, so that's not too bad, and they are running Razor Leaf Tropius. We swap into Emolga, and it's a Rock Throw Macargo, so yeah, my play was definitely to make sure the opponent did not regain alignment. I failed at that, and now I'm definitely going to lose this game because of it. So well played to my opponent, and unfortunately we get the farm down there, but this Tropius can just farm me down, and I do lose that game. But GG's to that opponent. And into the next battle, we see Obstagoon in the lead, so not a bad matchup. Of course, resisting the counter damage. The opponent's going to go straight for a charge move, just a Night Slash here. We can easily tank that. And once again, going to go for an Acrobatics just before they get to another charge move. Acrobatics does connect, and now we swap. We catch the Night Slash onto our Dedenne, and the opponent's actually just going to stay in here, and we get the farm down. So I think that's a very odd play by the opponent, but they clearly have no idea what to do up against Dedenne. They now come in with Lantern, which I probably would have swapped into anyways. Even though they are taking neutral damage from the electric damage here, they actually still probably win this matchup just because Lantern is incredibly bulky. But we go for the Play Rough, and it does big damage. The opponent allows me to get to a discharge. This will grab a shield from the opponent, but they should be able to farm me down. But instead, they swap into a Knocked Out, and this is perfect for me. I'm even going to shield this just for the sake of it. I know Shadow Ball will not take me out, but there's no point in taking any risks. Once again, gonna farm to 99 energy before debuffing my defense. We take out Knocked Out. We can now go for a Fell Stinger, and the opponent probably should just let this move go through, and they actually just concede the match there. So GG's to that opponent. And into the final battle of this video, we see a Toxapex in the lead. They swap into Trevenant. Now this is pretty good for the Emolga here, as we can full send the Acrobatics. Do they shield it? Yes, they do, unfortunately. And now this is quite tricky. I don't know if they're going to bait here. We do shield it, and it is just a bait. And now they do make it to a charge move just before we get there ourselves. We call the bait this time around, and it is just a Seed Bomb. We can now go for the Acrobatics. But the opponent uses both their shields, and now Trevenant is actually quite difficult to take care of. I'm going to let this move go through, assuming a Shadow Ball, but they bait once again, and now I do make it to the Play Rough here, and this should be enough damage to take them out. No, it's barely not, and they do preserve the health there, but I'm barely able to make it to a discharge for some nice chip damage up against the Toxapex. So now I'm going to wait out the switch clock here, come in with my Togedemaru, and once again I'm going to overfarm in this matchup. Going to let the first move go through, and I should be able to go for a couple more Thunder Shocks before throwing any of my energy. We go for the Wild Charge. We of course take out the Toxapex, and they come in with a Shift Tree. I'm going to boost my attack here, and now these Fell Stingers are actually going to do a lot of damage, although I still think a Wild Charge would do more damage here. But instead I swap out there, clearing my debuff, because I was expecting a Trevenant to come back in and snipe me with a Seed Bomb. But we go for the Wild Charge there, and they did not have the energy anyways, so that was fine with me. So that's going to be it for today's today's video. If you did enjoy it, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And as for my response, I'm going to go with like Gligar or Gliscor. I think they would be quite cool if they did actually learn a better flying type charge move. If you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.